Hello! It is a privilege to be here with you today to talk about the exciting journey you are about to embark on. Having been offered this opportunity, it's important to remember that you are about to evolve your role as a leader and brand ambassador for this company. As you prepare for your assignment, there are many things that you will need to be aware of. I want to spend some time today reviewing facts and information about your host country, Saudi Arabia, as well as discussing cultural dimensions and how those will impact you in the coming years. So let's get started. Saudi Arabia is a dynamic and evolving kingdom situated in the Middle East and bordered by the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea. The country is an absolute monarchy, currently under the reign of King Abdullah. As the birthplace of Islam and home to two of Islam's holiest shrines, Saudi Arabia has a rich religious and cultural heritage. The laws of Islam are the laws of the state, and until recently, religious police could perform arrests for various infractions. Saudi Arabia has an oil-based economy with strong government controls over major economic activities. It possesses about 16% of the world's proven petroleum reserves. It ranks as the largest exporter of petroleum and plays a leading role in OPEC. Saudi Arabia has a reputation for being a difficult place to conduct business. Saudi Arabia conducts business in the Islamic way, with restrictions on what women may do in public, prohibitions on entertainment, and a ban on alcohol and all pork products. 5 times a day, the country will stop for prayer. Marketing and advertising are regulated, and they carry Islamic restrictions with the government maintaining absolute authority over all content. From an economic perspective, Saudi Arabia believes in being a key member of the global community. From a cultural or political perspective, the doors to Saudi Arabia had remained firmly closed until about 15 years ago. Hofstede's cultural dimensions theory is a framework for cross-cultural communication which was developed by Geert Hofstede. It describes the effects of a society's culture on the values of its members. It will be helpful to understand where Saudi Arabia scores on the Hofstede model. And then I'd like to take a deeper look at some of the key indicators that will impact your work and your personal life while you're in Saudi Arabia. On this slide, I have shown the scores assigned to Saudi Arabia through Hofstede's insights. You will notice high scores in power distance, uncertainty avoidance, and masculinity. Let's take a few minutes to discuss how those scores will impact you. Looking at power distance, Saudi Arabia scores exceptionally high, with a 95 out of 100. This means that people accept a hierarchical order in which everybody has a place, and it needs no further justification. Hierarchy in an organization is seen as reflecting inherent inequalities. Centralization is also popular. Subordinates expect to be told what to do, and the ideal boss is a benevolent autocrat. Next, I'd like to look at masculinity versus femininity. Saudi Arabia's score of 60 indicates a masculine society. This means that the society will be driven by competition, achievement, success, with success being defined by the winner or the best person in the field. People live in order to work. Managers are expected to be decisive and assertive. The emphasis is on equity, competition, and performance, and conflicts are often resolved by fighting them out. There's a strong focus on material success. A lower score in this dimension would mean that the dominant values in society would be caring for others, as well as quality of life. A feminine society would be one where quality of life is a sign of success, and it is not admirable to stand out in a crowd. The fundamental issue here is what motivates people. In Saudi Arabia, the masculine. The dimension uncertainty avoidance has to do with the way that a society deals with the fact that the future can never be known. Should we try to control the future, or just let it happen. Saudi Arabia scores an 80 on this dimension, and thus has a preference for avoiding all uncertainty. Countries that exhibit high uncertainty avoidance maintain rigid codes of belief and behavior. They are intolerant of unorthodox behavior and ideas. In these cultures, there is an emotional need for rules. Time is money. People have an inner urge to be busy, work hard. Precision and punctuality are the norm, and innovation may be resisted. Now I would like to spend a few minutes talking to you about cultural intelligence, and specifically the cultural customs you will need to be aware of to be successful working in Saudi Arabia. Cultural intelligence refers to a person's ability to use reasoning and observation skills to interpret unfamiliar gestures and situations and devise appropriate behavioral responses. Visitors to Saudi Arabia should speak no opinions on politics, the kingdom, or religion. In some cases, speaking against the country or Islam is considered blasphemy and is considered a crime against the kingdom. One of the most important customs of Saudi Arabia, as with other Arab countries, is that of unstinting hospitality. Saudis are excellent hosts and are always pleased to welcome guests and treat them generously, with courtesy and respect. With that in mind, you should never refuse food or drinks that are offered, as this would be considered an insult. Personal relationships are also essential to doing business successfully in Saudi Arabia. When greeting, men will shake hands. You might be familiar with that custom here, but locals may rub their noses together or kiss each other on the cheeks. Women also kiss each other on the cheeks. By contrast, there is not normally any physical contact between men and women when they meet. A man should never shake a woman's hand unless the woman offers her hand to him first. The exchange of favors among friends and colleagues is considered acceptable, and it's often encouraged. Controlling body language. Arabs are very conscious of gestures and the level of eye contact you maintain during communication. Maintain diplomacy, speaking indirectly rather than bluntly in all communications. Always allow the other party to maintain their honor in any situation. You are expected to show respect by also spelling all Arabic names correctly. Build trust before attempting to negotiate any deal with anyone in Saudi Arabia. Be sincere and patient, and acknowledge that your word is your bond. Honor is important above all things. The greeting in Saudi Arabia is salam. You have been selected for an amazing opportunity with this assignment. It is the expectation that you will embrace this opportunity to grow our brand presence in Saudi Arabia while also abiding by our corporate code of ethics and your own personal moral code. Moral leadership is about distinguishing right from wrong, seeking the just, the honest, the good, and the right conduct in achieving goals and fulfilling purpose. So while you're there, build a personal brand and a work environment that are based on moral and ethical leadership. Understand and abide by the cultural and societal norms of your host country. Safe travels. We appreciate your dedication to your position. Thank you for your time.